Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for that beautiful song. Will is this the shloka we're reading? Number 12.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, would someone like to recite it?
Mataji, I can try.
Okay,
Ye
yes.
Bhagavad Gita, is it Bhagavad Gita tune, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. And
Okay,
please read the translation also after that.
okay, Mataji. Sut janasi bhadram te.
Suta
Sut
Janam
Janas
Te
Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi.
Bhagwan
Bhagwan
Satvatam
Satvatam
Pati
Pati
Devakyam Vasudevasya
Deva
देवक्यां
Devakyam
वसुदेवस्य
Vasudevasya
Jato Yasya Chikirshaya.
Jato
जातो यस्य
Jato
चिकीर्षया
Asya
Translation. All blessings upon you, O Suta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you want to finish reading the purport? It's very short.
Okay, yes, Mataji, I can do that. Bhagwan means the Almighty God who is the controller of all opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is especially inclined to his devotees. Sat means the absolute truth, and persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called Sattvatas. And the personality of Godhead who protects such pure devotees is known as the protector of all Sattvatas. Bhadram te, or blessings upon you, indicates the sage's anxiety to know the absolute truth from the speaker. Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva, Vasudeva, I think Vasudeva. I'm confused, Vasudev. Because Mataji, we call Vasudev to Krishna or Vasudev to Krishna? Vasudev to Krishna, na?
No, Mataji, Vasudev is Krishna and
And
Vasudev is his father when he appeared.
yeah, thank you, Mataji. The wife of Vasudev. Vasudev is the symbol of the transcendental position wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord takes place. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, would you like to share something?
So, Mataji, in this now they are asking to explaining that what Bhagwan means, and then how Bhagwan actually always protect his devotees, and he's always equally disposed to everyone, but he's especially inclined to his devotees. So we had this discussion few months back when Prabhuji only asked this thing ki, Bhagwan is biased or non-biased or how it is. Then we had conversation about this, but here it's mentioned that he's especially inclined to his devotees, and then they told that Sat means the absolute and Satvatas means the servitors of devotees. And Bhagwan is the protector of them. And Bhadram te is the blessings upon you. So here indicates the sages. So here I think the sages are giving blessings to Suta Goswami and asking him to know about the absolute truth, the Krishna, who appeared in Devaki's womb, the wife of Vasudeva. And here they have explained that Vasudeva is the symbol of transcendental position wherein the appearance of the Supreme Lord take place. So here I think Vasudev, because he is a very pure devotee, like Prabhuji, I think in today's class morning we were discussing that Lord Krishna, when he came, appeared as Narayana. So he showed his Narayana roop form to Devaki, but not to Yashoda. And so here they are saying that Vasudeva is a pure devotee. So that's why God took place in uh, uh, Devaki's womb and appeared as their son. So it's a transcendental position. I think, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I just want to share that, like Indra also is a position. So here they're saying that Vasudeva is also symbol of the transcendental position. So I can, this is my understanding that it's a very higher position, and that is why Krishna came as their son. And now the sages are asking them, please tell us more. We have anxiety to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mataji, if you can just more clarify this thing, and Vasudeva is a symbol of the transcendental position. It will be good, because I am sure that I could not understand it properly. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I understand just like what you said, that the parents to whom Krishna appears, or when he comes as Ram appears, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are very, they have transcendental position. They are, they are constant associates. They are uh, Krishna's close, intimate associates that descend with him. So many other associates, Parshad, come when Krishna comes. And so it is a very high position, and when he appears as their son. So that's what I understand as well, Mataji. Mataji, you were saying that we have discussed this point. God is equally disposed to everyone. Would you would you like to discuss this more? Like, what was our conclusion? And
Mataji, I still, Prabhuji said something like, I mean, I just remember this, that Prabhuji gave, few very nice examples, but unfortunately, because of bad memory, I don't remember. But yeah, it's about, I mean, when we were reading Bhagwatam seventh canto, then we had this conversation. But yeah, I mean, all I need to, if I try to remember also, but I think this point makes it very clear here, and which makes a logic also for me, because if you love somebody more, like the parents, they have three or two kids, and they equally love their both kids, but if one is very obedient and one is very love the parents and express his gratitude or love towards parents, then definitely it happens that it's not that they are biased, but they are more inclined towards the one who shows more respect. So I think same here it is there, that because Krishna as a Paramatma is present in every living entity. But yes, because if you love Krishna more, then he reciprocates the love. So that way is, I think, it's it's a true statement here. And I also believe this way, because if in practical life we also see that it happens to us, if you are friend with somebody, and if you get the love, respect, and time from someone and not from the other friend, then you are more inclined. But that does not mean that you do not like the other one. So yeah, so I don't know, I don't remember what Prabhuji gave example, but as far as it's believing this, I do, and I think, yeah, it's justified.
yes,
Haribol.
Mataji, thank you so much. Yes, so if you remember in seventh canto, Yudhishthir Maharaj asked this from,
Yes, Mataji, yes.
he asked the same thing. So this looks like a very contradictory statement, right? When they say God is equally disposed to everyone, but he's especially inclined to his devotees. So if he's equally disposed, why is he especially inclined to his devotees? What does that mean? All are his kids. So if all are his kids, he should be equally inclined to everybody. But the analogy, Mataji, that I remember is given about this is, and the shloka that is quoted about this is, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. So in whatever mood you approach God, God also reciprocates in the same way. So it's the analogy that is given is that of a teacher. So teacher in general does not favor any kids. To the teacher, no kid is related to them. Everybody is equal. But there are some kids, when they are answering a paper, they are answering 100 questions right. So they are getting 100 marks. Somebody is answering 25 right, so they're getting 25 marks. It's not teachers um, teachers will that they want to favor one person, but that person answered all 100 correct, so she has no choice but to give them 100%. So because devotees are approaching Krishna more, they are loving Krishna more, so Krishna has no choice but to love them more. So it says God is equally disposed, yes, but it is the choice of the non devotees to not approach Krishna or not love Krishna. That's why Krishna is not reciprocating. So if they have chosen to answer only half the questions, then only half the marks will be given. If they decide to answer all 100 questions correctly, then all 100% marks will be given. So ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. That's what I understand here. So Arjun and Duryodhan both are, spirit souls, but Krishna is favoring Arjun because Arjun loves Krishna. He is in the mood of love and friendship with Krishna. When given a choice, Arjun chooses Krishna, not does not care about the army. So that is the mood in which Krishna also reciprocates in love and friendship with Arjun.
And thank you, Mataji. Yes, you're right, and thanks for sharing. And I remember this, like the story of Durvasa Muni, and I don't know whether it's related here or not, but like Ambarish Maharaj, like Durvasa Muni also is a very big devotee, and he also like a Mahajan, I think Mahajan. I don't know if I'm using the right term, but when it came to for when this problem happened between Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj, then Krishna could not, tolerate, and then um, he was very angry, and then Durvasa Muni had to run here and there to save himself. So yes, everybody. That's you said correct that it's all about how you love Krishna, how you want to give time to Krishna. There is a very beautiful message in one group someone forwarded. I really wanted to forward that in the group. It's a beautiful message, but sometimes some messages are there. The message is very beautiful, but at the end they say do this video, thumbs and like and this and that. So that's why I did not forward, but I will forward that, because initially all the things, like it's a letter from God, भगवान की तरफ से एक letter है for the person, when say, from the morning when you start your day and you end your day, and that the same, every day you're doing the same thing, and then Krishna says in that, I'll just say the one line because it actually touched me so much, that letter, that words. It's not from something from ISKCON, but somebody made the recording, or I don't know. It said that that Krishna every day in the morning, the God comes, and he at the time, like the morning when you wake up, the Krishna is always standing by your side near your bed. And then he says that every day I'm waiting for you to remember me in the morning, but every time I see that you wake up, and then you say, we wish your family members, like greet your family members, and then you start your day. When you do your when you are done with your breakfast and everything, then I always wait that if now you will spare 1 minute, but you don't do that. When you go to the office and you sit in your chair, yeah, and then when you sit on a chair, at that time I can see that you have 10 minutes spare, but that also you are busy looking in your phone, and I whole day, it's been months and ages, I'm waiting that moment will come when you will remember me. Because I assure you this, that if you, with your daily work, if you remember me for a minute, then all your work uh, will be done more smoothly, and you will have my blessings. But I don't know how long I have to wait for you to remember me sincerely. So beautiful message, Mataji. It's in Hindi. It's with the music, it's very beautiful, so I will share, just wanted to share that. Haribol, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. You should share that video. We'll ignore that last
Yeah, Mataji, because then you will get blessings of God. I never like that, but because that has that thing, so I thought I don't know I should share or not. But now you said I will share. You.
But nice example of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Very, very nice example, Mataji. So Durvasa Muni, even though such a big, austere saint and ascetic, and Amrish Maharaj is, if you know, is known for perfecting all nine processes of devotion, right? So he's a great, great devotee. So Krishna always protects his devotees. He promises that in Bhagavad Gita. So um, he uh, he favors the devotee, even though there is a big sannyasi, ascetic sage, offending the devotee. The devotee is never allowed to perish. Thank you, Mataji. Does anyone else want to share something from the shloka, or should we move on?
I'm good.
Would anyone like to recite this?
Hare Krishna, I can try. Tanna susrusammananam
Tanna
Tanna
Shrumanam
sushrumananam
rahasi anganuvarnitam
arhasi
Hasi
anganuvarnitum
Anganuvarnitam
yasya vataro bhutanam
Yasya
yasya avataro bhutanam
Yashavatarubutanam
Shemai cha bhavaya cha.
Kshemaya cha
Kshemaya cha
bhavaya
Bhavaya
cha.
cha
Translation: O Suta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. Hare Krishna.
Does anyone want to read the purport?
I can read itself. So, so here again, the Shaunak Rishi is asking Suta Goswami further about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations, and he's asking to explain about the teachings imparted by previous acharyas, because by both by speaking them and hearing them, one is uplifted. So it is all. So here, let's see the purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the Absolute Truth are set forth herein. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. First condition. And the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized acharya. So here they are talking about what is the requirement for the listener as well as the one who's speaking. So the one who's listening should be hearing eagerly and very sincerely, and the one who's speaking should be in the disciplic succession. The transcendental message of the absolute truth is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Suta Goswami and the sages of Nimai Sharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Suta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, and the sages of Nimai Sharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Shri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, appearance or disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on, are all easily understandable because all the requirements are fulfilled. Such discourses help men on the path of spiritual realization. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any questions about this, or I think this is we talked about it as we went, and if not, then we can keep going. I think, or any comments about this? If not, then we'll just continue reading.
I just wanted to ask, does this whole purport and translation remind anybody of any very important shloka from Bhagavad Gita? Anyone remembers 4.34? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena
Pariprajnena prekshaya tatvidi pranipatena.
jnanam jnaninastatvadarshina.
Shina. Yeah.
Say that
And
submissively here from a bona fide spiritual master, submit to them, give them, offer them services and obeisances, and they will show you the absolute truth. Those who have seen the absolute truth will impart you the knowledge. So that shloka completely fits here, that there are qualifications of the one that's hearing and the one that's speaking. So we are hearing here from our beloved His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I don't know if we, at least me, if I have the qualifications, but this is, they're talking here about sages of Nemisharan and Sud Goswami, and they were all equally qualified. So Sud Goswami is a knower of the, he knows the absolute truth, has that transcendental knowledge, and the sages were very eager to hear that knowledge. They were
So I have a question for devotees. Here they say that Sutta Goswami is in the line of Vyasdev. How's that? What do they mean by that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danpat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I guess Prabhuji, Vyasdev has a disciple named Roma Harshana, and his son was Sota Goswami. So maybe in that way, Prabhuji.
Yes, and also Sutta Goswami heard from Shukdev Goswami, and Shukdev Goswami is son of Vyasdev. So I think both of those factors.
Yeah, so it's like kind of parampara, it's like a line.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, correct.
Okay, anyone else wants to share anything, or should we move next to next shloka?
Yeah, we can move next. Okay.
Okay, would anyone like to read this? Okay, I'll try this. Apanna samsritim ghoram yannama vivasho grinan tata. Sorry, go ahead. Apanna samsritam ghoram
apanna samsritam
Nasansatam
ghoram
Puram.
Yanna
yannama vivasho
Vivishok
grinan
yannama vivasho
Vishnu
grinan
tata
Yan
satyo vimuchet
tata
Tata
sadhyo
Satyo
vimuchet
yad yad bibeti swayam bhayam.
yadvibheti swayam
Yadibheti
bhayam.
Swayam Bhayam.
Translation: living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Purport: Vasudeva, or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and others who were very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudeva has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. Everything is related to him, and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is non different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy names of Lord Shri Krishna even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. Hare Krishna. So I believe this shloka is glorifying the importance of Harinam, that how it can immediately free one from the cycle of birth and death, but even by unconsciously chanting. So even if one is, we've learned the glories of holy name of Krishna many times, and we understand that this is non-different from Krishna. And I know that later on, I believe this is in sixth canto somewhere, that it is mentioned how even unconsciously, meaning that you have no intention of glorifying the holy name, but let's say you are just, this is very famous lectures of Amoglila Prabhu, where he mentions that even if you mention holy name by mistake, like somebody is making fun of you, that, oh, look at these Hare Krishna people. But he will also get the credit, he will also get the benefit of having said Hare Krishna. Or even when you say the name, like there are so many names that are after Krishna. For example, the most famous story of can anybody tell that story of how who said Narayana at the time of birth, even though they didn't? Would anyone like to mention?
Ajamil.
Ajamil, yes. So Ajamil said he was just saying his son's name. He had no intention of saying Krishna's name, but by even unconsciously or subconsciously saying his son's name, he got the benefit. Valmiki, saying Mara Mara got the benefit of saying Ram, and so many others. So there are various types of Nama Bhas mentioned that if you say it in fun, if you are saying it using somebody else's name, which is not which is Krishna's name, but you have no intention of using it. For example, uh, like you say, oh, did you see Govinda's movie? So you said Govinda. So there are many other instances where people may be saying the names of Krishna without realizing, and they will get benefit from that, because name of Krishna is not different from Krishna, and here it is also said that it is feared by the fear personified. So it immediately takes away one's own fears, and it is famously said that if you take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, all the fears within our heart go away. That's all I wanted to share. Would anyone else like to share some things from this?
You did a very good explanation. We can go next. If everybody.
Is that okay? Anybody would like to mention something here? Okay, I think we'll move forward. Okay, can somebody read this?
Bhagwan 15. Yatpada sanshrayaha sutta
Yatpadasamshrayasu
Santraya Sutta
मुनयः प्रशमायनः
Munaya
Munaya
Munaya Prashmayana
सद्यः पुनन्त्युपस्पृष्टाः
Sadhya
Punanti
Punanti
Sadhya Punanti Prastaha
स्वधर्मीव पूर्णसेवया
Swadharma
Swadhyaya
Svadhyaya
Sevaya.
Translation. Translation. O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. Hare Krishna. Purport. Pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the waters of the sacred river Ganges. One can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of the Ganges waters, but one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of birth as Shudra, woman, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and by so doing can return to Godhead. To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the names Prabhupad and Vishnupad, which indicate such devotees to be representatives of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone, therefore, who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as his spiritual master can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. For they deliver out of the material world the fallen souls whom the Lord wants to return home back to Godhead. Such pure devotees are better known as wise lords according to revealed scriptures. The sincere disciple of the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always considers himself to be a humble servant of the Lord. This is the pure devotional path. Hare Krishna.
Would you like to share something?
Uh, a pure devotee who believes in Krishna will first have to take the shelter of a spiritual master to be purified. Although the name Krishna itself purifies people, but to be able to reach Krishna or to be able to be at the mercy of Krishna, one has to first take the mercy of a pure devotee. A pure devotee considers himself servant of the lotus feet of the Lord. So they call themselves as Prabhupad or Vishnupad. And ultimately, their devotees are in the disciplic sort of disciplic succession. They are what we call as Dasanudas, servant of the Lord, and they get purified as soon as they take the shelter of a spiritual master. Whereas by bathing in the Ganges water also purifies, but by uh, after a
prolonging.
long time, but uh, being under the shelter of a spiritual master, one is purified immediately. This is what I've understood. Maybe I have left some points, or maybe I'm wrong somewhere, so please correct me.
Nirmala Mataji, were you sharing something? Or would anyone else like to share something?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
so one thing I wanted to share, this first canto of Srimad Bhagwatam, which we are reading right now, this Srila Prabhupada wrote when he was in India, even before going to America. And in the very first canto, especially the first canto and second canto, the first canto, Prabhupada gave basically most of the teachings of the whole philosophy and everything concise. Why? Because Prabhupada was already in his 60s and going to be 70, and Prabhupada didn't know what is Krishna's exact plans, how long Prabhupada is going to be there. So Prabhupada was given indications, and Prabhupada was given revelations about writing, and he had put all of those things in these books, and especially the first canto of Srimad Bhagwatam. So therefore, first canto of Srimad Bhagwatam is considered very, very important for those who are, following in the ISKCON lineage to understand this book, because Prabhupada had given most of the teachings in this. Now, when Prabhupada wrote this, at that time he was not called as Prabhupada. He was called as Swamiji, right? And here Prabhupada has mentioned that great devotees have taken shelter of the personalities. So while Prabhupada is writing, actually he is talking about his spiritual master. His spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his title, he was also called as Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada basically means that means that Prabhu, in this context, Prabhu means the Supreme Lord, and Pad means his feet. Those who are at the lotus feet, who are serving the lotus feet of Krishna, they are Prabhupada. And therefore, if we serve those who are serving Krishna, then we are servant of the servant of Krishna, right? So that is how this is. So Prabhupada or Vishnupad, those who are serving the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So essentially the same thing, sometimes also called as Bhagavad Pad, which is serving the feet of the Supreme Lord. There's also one more meaning of Prabhupada. Actually, there are many meanings, but the one other meaning is also when Prabhu means those who are actually learned devotees, those who are trained devotees. They are also sometimes called as Prabhu. Like when we meet each other, we call Prabhu in the sense that the other person is is I can learn from the other person, as a master. So uh, so Prabhu Pad means a person on whose feet lot of other Prabhus are sitting, which is also true for Prabhupada, because a lot of other disciples of Srila Prabhupada were very, very nicely trained and were sannyasis. So from that perspective is another meaning of Prabhupada. So of course, Prabhupada got his title as Prabhupada much later. When he was in America, he was initially called as Swamiji, and then later on his disciples, they all requested him that we want to call you Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, seeing their affection and love, he was okay with that. So that is how Prabhupada was called as Prabhupada later on. So that's what I wanted to share.
Krishna. So one thing here that also strikes me is that this question actually comes a lot. A lot of people ask that why not just go to Krishna? Why should we go, through a guru or through devotees? Why shouldn't we just take the name of Krishna directly? So we have talked about this a few times. Anybody would like to share their thoughts about this? Hare Krishna. So yeah, I was just waiting if any devotee wants to share, but we have talked about this multiple times also, that it is easier to reach. Krishna is the most important person, right? So we have talked about the example that if you want to meet the president, you can't just go and meet the president directly, right? It is difficult to go and meet the president directly, even though he's there. He is all power, a lot very powerful, and he can do a lot, but still it is difficult to approach him directly. It is easier if you know some confidante of that of the some person who's close to the president. So जैसे we say कि approach लगा सकते हैं, so that ways it is easier then. So if you know somebody who knows him closely, and it's probably more easier to reach them. They may have a phone number or contact information that's easier to obtain, and through them you can reach more easily, because the president meets them all the time. He's working with them all the time. So just like that, that's just a very mundane way of explanation of why and how we need to um, pray at the feet of the devotees. There are many other reasons. This is just one way of explaining, because this question will come a lot to us when because in ISKCON these teachings are from the Vedas, Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam also, Bhagavad Gita even, it is explained that how we need to first approach the devotees of the Lord, and the one who serves the devotees of the Lord is the most, the Krishna loves them the most. If you serve the devotees, if you serve the people who are the devotees of the Lord. So similarly here, that's I just wanted to mention that point, as it's mentioned over here. Hare Krishna.
So, in this regard, a story comes to mind, just a short one. It's actually from Sikh religion. You know how that gurus are very much glorified in Sikh religion. So, I don't remember which guru this was, but somebody asked the guru why the same question: why is there a need of a guru to approach Paramatma? Why can't we just do our japa, and why do we need to submit to a guru? So the guru took him outside of the temple, and he gave him a log of fire. He said, "Look, so there was fire burning at the end of the log." He said, "Can you hold this fire directly in your hand?" He said, "No, my hand will get burnt." He said, "So similarly, you need a log to be able to hold this fire in your hand. With this log, you are able to hold the fire in your hand. But if you try to hold it directly in your hand will get burnt." So, similarly, you need a guru to approach Krishna. In this analogy, Krishna is the fire and Guru is the log, and you are the one able to hold the fire through the help of Guru. So, you're able to hold Krishna in your hands. You can make Krishna dance to your tunes by serving the Guru. So, we have to really value the disciplic succession and our gurus and spiritual masters.
Is it that in
Nice.
to remain fixed in devotion, one needs a guru who will not let you deviate from the path of devotion. Whereas, if you try to remember God directly, of course, one has to remember God, but if one is through the Guru, Guru will not let you deviate from your path. Guru will not let you go astray. That is why to be at the lotus feet of a guru is very important.
Yes, that's right. I think, but that's right more for the initial stages. But as we have learned in earlier discussions with Atul Prabhu, the relationship with Guru never ends. So even if you're firmly fixed in devotion, firmly situated in devotion, even if you have reached Vaikuntha, even if you are able to now serve Krishna, your relationship with Guru is eternal. You still serve Krishna through the Guru. So in the initial stages, yes, when we are um, very much conditioned and um, trying to stick to the path of devotion, yes.
But here one question comes to my mind, like when you say that Krishna will come to you, help you, if you approach him through a guru. So what about Gajendra? Gajendra called out to Krishna directly.
Yes, so those are, I mean, there are many, I mean, he was also in animal form, and we always say that in lower species devotion is not possible. So I don't think we should take examples like that as for normal beings like us. So there are many anomalies. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj got the absolute knowledge in the womb of the mother. Doesn't mean it happens for everybody. So those are the, I mean, there are examples that are applicable for masses, and then there are some anomalies that are just distinct examples in the stories. But
So actually, you mentioned Prahlad Maharaj, so that makes me think that Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahajan. Mahajans are those who set examples for others to follow. So Prahlad Maharaj, we had discussed in seventh canto that when Krishna, when Lord Narasimhadev was standing in front of Prahlad Maharaj, Krishna himself, then what did Prahlad Maharaj say? That I can't leave my guru, Narad Muni. I have to follow Narad Muni. He didn't say that I will serve you Krishna directly. Krishna is in front of him. He can ask him directly. But he pleased Krishna more by saying that I want to continue the service of Narad Muni and follow on the, whatever my guru says.
okay, would anyone like to share anything? Rakshita Mataji, Suresh Prabhu, any thoughts on this? Or I see Anisha Mataji is there. Mataji is sitting quietly.
Mataji, continue. We are listening.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I had to pronoun. I'm just like a sponge absorbing all your wonderful nectar. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, I think we have crossed our time. So should we finish? Wrap up for today and join tomorrow?
Sure.
Sure, Mataji. Yeah.
Sure, Mataji. Yes.
Okay. Vanchakaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam Vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव बहन की जय.
की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हरि हरि बोल
हरि बोल.